So we're gonna get into this teaching real fast. But before we do, we got to put a couple things in the atmosphere as always. So let me go do my little purification and then we'll get started. Just had to put a couple things in the atmosphere real fast so we can get with our teaching. I hope everybody had an awesome and productive day, as I did, as always. So before we get into this teaching, we got to put a couple things in the atmosphere, and that's our Moorish prayer. And we're going to get started. Divine warning by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And it reads, Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read the proclamation at each meeting. It was dated January 15th, 1929, Moors, for those that are questioning things. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work or in the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and my 2 cents Moors, health and wealth. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course, Moors. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah. Moors, you got to remember, Allah, arm, leg, arm, head is you. We got to be clear with this, Moors. If you're studying your Circle 7 Quran and you read it, you should know this. You should know in chapter 5 in our Circle 7 Quran, you should know all the science that I'm talking about. It's no mystery. Nothing is a secret. It's sacred, but it's you are Allah. Chapter 11, verse 43. Read that, Moors. If we're saying we're following the teachings of our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, you got to stop dissing biblical scripture, because the Circle 7 Quran is compiled of the Bible, the Apocryphal scriptures, which is the Rosicrucian, our Rosicrucian Mason manuals. It's there. It's filled with the Apocryphal Gospels, which is the Aquarian Gospels. You have to know this, Moors. If you don't know this, if you don't know what the Circle 7 Quran is compiled of, you must study it. You must study this more. So when a person going around saying that Noble Drew Ali taught this and taught that, and what the Circle 7 Quran is all about, and this in biblical scripture, you just don't, you getting the wrong perspective, Moors. And I don't care if they have a fez on, a turban, it's the wrong perspective. The Circle 7 Quran teaches about the Kemetic principles. It teaches about our master and mason, our workman tools. It teaches about the 18 missing years of Yahshua's life, the Hebrew God. the circle of the seven. I mean, chapter 11, verse 43, the Hebrew prophet is the rising star of wisdom defied. He brings to us a knowledge of the secret things of Allah, and all the world will hear his words and glorify his name. You priests of the temple, Kavistu, stay, be still and listen when he speaks. He is the living oracle of Allah. So when Moors telling you something and they telling you to study and they're not studying, you got to run from that, man. You know, it's upsetting when people giving themselves labels and calling themselves master teachers and they're not teaching from the Circle 7 Quran, telling you, oh, I just deal in civics. Well, what did you think this whole Moor science is all about? This is a holy and divine creed. Some more are jumping right to advanced civics, getting people locked up, going to jail. Period. People signing papers, and I tell Moors, do you know what a notary public is? I'm a notary public. It's certain things that must fall in line, man. Come on, we got to be straight with this, man. And if your spirituality ain't right, how that's going to make you right? This is about our families, man. This is about changing our babies, teaching our babies what we learn late, for they can learn it early, teaching about business and history, how they can become their own business, and understand about nonprofit status. I'm tired of hearing Moors talking about, oh, nonprofit status, the government stuff. You don't even understand it if you're not even a nonprofit. I have a nonprofit here in Arizona. I have a nonprofit school, the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, and we have classes 3 days a week at the YMCA. And it's banging. How are you going to do things in your community and you're not an organization? Somebody talk to me. I'm tired of hearing Negroes with feds on and turn on this and business because they're trying to make money off you. How are you going to get property in your community and change your community and get a charter community and charter schools and you're not even legally able to do one? Our 501c3, the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, we are tax exempt from federal government. We are a charitable organization. We able to teach our own. We able to have a school, raise money, scientific. Don't y'all know this? We're just like the Boys and Girls Club. We just like the Goodwill. We just like that. Don't y'all know that? That's how we get. That's why my organization is allowed to solicit for funds. And y'all tripping. And most Moors and other people giving money to these organizations. But what is it doing for your community? Somebody talk to me. We real, man. That's why most of my followers and most of my people are not Moors, because I'm a real teacher. And it's just what it is, man. Most brothers don't understand business. I'm telling you, I'm an author. I done put 10 books. I done authored and compiled 10 books. Hardly no Moors bought them. But most of my books selling right now on college campuses, selling at other religious churches and things. Don't you know what an adapt is? I go to where my people at. Period. So I don't get caught up in this goofball stuff and this false doctrine. Moors going around lying and things because they don't understand business. Man, I'm getting property donated to me because I'm a nonprofit in my small city where I'm from, Flint, Michigan. That's how I'm able to go into schools and teach and do things and say, okay, if you guys can't pay me this income, or you can't donate this to the organization, we can draw a percentage of that up as in-kind service. Ask them more what in-kind service is. They don't know. They don't even know. They just going around spreading hate and spreading false information. That's why out here in Arizona, in the harder hit funds, in the communities where most of the African Americans per se, we're not the minority. You have the so-called, and I'm using misnomers, we have the Latinos and Mexicans, but they're all indigenous. But that's where I'm doing a lot of the work at. And I'm going into these schools and teaching these babies how the importance of starting your own non-for-profit. The importance of starting your own non-for-profit. How funds can be donated. How you can change your whole status. But more is going around giving false information. So let's finish this, man. But remember, your card is for your salvation, and failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequences, Moors. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member who or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple of the prophet, that's esoteric and exoteric, Moors. If you don't know what esoteric and exoteric is, you should ask. What's above have to match below, man. I want my will to match Yahweh's will. Don't we understand this? It's nothing else in the world that I want. Whatever I'm doing, I want my will to match. That's all. I want my will to match Yahweh's will. You are Allah, arm, leg, arm, head. You are Islam, I, self, law, and master. This is not no religious dogma. More said that they sheiks and master teachers, that they don't even understand the triple rows of the adapt chamber. That's understanding all three religious rights. I hope we know this science, Moors. Crazy. But any member who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant. My next question is, do you know what the divine covenant is? If you don't know, you need to research it. I have the literature. If you don't want to donate $33 to our nonprofit and get the books that we gathered and called Divinely Prepared, you can download the PDF for only $16.50 for you can know for sure. So you can know for sure, Moors. I promise you. I've written 10 books gathered and compiled, and they flying off the shelf. Yesterday, I taught at one of my brothers. He's a Prince Hall Masonry. I went, and the brothers was crying because they know no science, because all their literature, all their history is a level above freezing. I'm telling you, they wear their fez in clandestine because it's religious and political. But that's a whole nother story, Moors. But all true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in the prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where you were found, Moors. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the temple family. This is an everlasting movement founded by our prophet through the will of Allah, which is you, arm, leg, arm, head, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Moors, you got to read your Circle 7 Quran and stop letting somebody connotate you with their religious bullcrap dogma. Somebody got to be the change unit, man. Messiah is not a God. A Messiah is in the flesh. The Messiah is the that gets you to point A to point B as a map, as a guide in the flesh. I am not God. I'm a little G. We all little G's. But someone has to be the Messiah. The Messiah come from amongst your people. The Messiah looks like you, talk like you. That's why in the Quran, it says a prophet comes in the voice of the people. You look like them. You talk like you know me. That's why the biblical scripture said, examine a man's life. Come on, man. So before we get into this teaching, like I said, we gathered and compiled 10 books. Our first one is the Delectable Vegan Treats. I'm just showing you the copies because I don't want to pull everything off my shelf. Delectable Vegan Treats. Moors, you are what you eat. You're killing yourself by what you put in your body. I don't care how much you read and study. If you're not eating healthy, you're gonna drop off. Diabetes is not hereditary. It's what you put in your mouth. I'm gonna give you an analogy or an example. If you take a brother or a sister that grew up in a background where they're eating, and I have to say this, slave food. I'm tired of Moors talking about, oh, this is soul food. Soul food comes from Mother Earth. It's minerals. So if you take that individual from that negative environment where they're eating dead carcasses and things, and put them in an environment where they're eating healthy, they're eating green, they're eating Mother Earth, they're eating fruits and vegetables, you're not going to have none of those diseases that your parents have. Why? Because you took them out of that environment. I'm tired of hearing more, well, I got diabetes, this from my mother. No, you didn't. You got it from how you cook. Period. You got it from how you cook. Also, you are what you eat. Eat good, look good, feel good. This is our vegan cookbook. This is our vegan cookbook, Moors. This is our vegan cookbook. Period. Healthy living and eating. In this book we gather and compile, we show you how to work out right. We show you what herbs to blend for healing. We show you what vegetables and fruit to blend for smoothies. I show you what herbs to use for helping you dilute prostate cancer. All natural stuff. Moorish America's Light of Ali and the Moorish Adapt Study Guide, the House of Ali Mysticism, the Egyptian Adapt Prophet and Angel. I mean, if you want to know something, it's here. This is about you. This is about you. I'm just a map. You must save yourself, man. Remember the context when I use words, when I'm saying black. because we got to understand when we use words, people take things out of context. I'm going to give you another analogy. Black. Yes, it's beautiful, but it's not a nationality. I love the color black. The sun is black. You get a million miles closer to the sun, it's black. Melanin is black. Carbon is black. Everything is black. And if it don't have carbon, it's dead. Don't y'all know this? Some has more melanin than others, but everyone has carbon. Plant has carbon. Insects has carbon. You get connotated. Black scholars who debunk Eurocentric propaganda, family. 14 Asiatic scientists in history. See, we do real work, man. This is no joke with me. The essence of chemical element of Moorish archival. The essence of the chemical element of the Moorish archival, family. Sufism and the triple role of the adapt chamber feature the Kemet and Adapt manual and the use of our carpenter tools. Don't you know our carpenter tools is right in the Circle 7 Quran, right? I hope you know that. I hope you know that. I Am Royalty coloring book for our babies. See, we do real work, man. This ain't no joke. Interpretation of the divine creed of Moorish Islam. It's right here, family. I mean, come on. Don't you know about your carpenter tools? Chapter 5 in your Circle 7 Quran. Start at verse 12 all the way to 21. One day, as he was bringing forth the tools for work, he said, "These tools remind me of the ones we handled in our workshop. And the mind were things made of thought and where we build up character. We use our square to measure all our lines, to straighten them out, the crooked places of the way." I can go on and on, but I'm not. When Moors get connotated about some 12 disciples, but it means something else esoterically, Moors. It means something else. I teach this. It's all about correcting you. You're only getting the exoteric, the outer meaning, but it's the inner meaning. That's why when I speak, what's above has to match below. Do the thermostat go outside of itself for hot and cold, Moors? No, you just change the pendulum. It swings. Heaven and hell is within. We got to know this science, Moors. I mean, this is too simple. I'll give you another example, family. All this science would Noble Drew Ali teach. The Kemet and Adapt manual and the use of our carpenter tools. The reconstruction, the ancient and most exalted Grand Ka, or the Kabbalah of Allah. I teach Moors. The Kabbalah spelled Kabbalistically. Just like Baphomet, it's spelled Kabbalistically. See, this is science when I tell you that words are spells. Kabbalistically, what does the Baphomet mean? Tim Hof Ab Abba, meaning the temple of David. Eliseus Levi, in his book, let me show you. Eliseus Levi, in his book, Transcendental Magic, which this is connotated wisdom, because I tell you, no science comes from the West. He stole the science and connotated it from the River Nile. I'm telling you. So you got to understand this science, man. This is nothing spooky. It's nothing spooky. You got to understand Kabbalah, which is more science. I teach it. I teach it. Here we go, the Kemet and Adapt manual and the use of our carpenter tools. These tools remind me of the ones we handle in our workshop of the mind, where things are made of thought and where we build up character. And I'm going to get to 21. And on the 12-step ladder, we ascend until we reach the pinnacle of that which life is spent to build up the temple of the perfect man. I hope you understand in the science. It's there. It's there. But we letting people get us caught up in spookism because we don't want to be students. We just want somebody to tell us something that sounds right and feel good. And that's sad. So I have to put that in the atmosphere, Morris, because some asked me to. And so what I do is do what a lot of my students ask me to do. I'm blessed to have a real science temple in school in Arizona. One of my brothers was asking me, did you have a more science temple here in Arizona? Yes, I did. I had one for 2 years. And I got to be honest, a lot of the more are niggardly because they don't want to pay. And I don't even ask much. If you're going and if you're getting your spirit fed and you getting your mind right and your baby's getting right and you don't want to help support this building, I got to let it go. I got to let it go. I had a temple and me and my empress was paying all the bills. So now we're at the YMCA because we are a non-for-profit and we're there and we're able to do services for a small fee. Man, we was blessed last week to have 30 new family members and their children join. And like Moors, I'm a Moor. And I wouldn't tell you that I was a Moor if I wouldn't. I'm nationalized through the Moorish Science Temple, the same way you can be. But I do have a school. My school have ID cards just like any other school. But I don't nationalize nobody of the Moorish Science Temple. But if you want to be a member of our school and a student, we have ID cards. It's just what it is. Everybody at my school is not a Moor. Everybody at my school is not a Moor. You don't have to be. I'm not biased. I'm a teacher, man. But I know who I am. And I know who my family is. And this is for you to save yourself. But I pray for positivity, Moors. I pray that I think peace, speak peace, and that I am peace. I pray that I think truth, speak truth, and that I am truth. I pray that I think love, speak love, and that I am love. I pray everything I attract. I pray everything you attract carries high, harmonious vibrations and intentions. May the light within me, may the light within you serve as a beacon for those that need it. Amen. Amin Ra. Aya Asha Aya. Shalom Alakim. Assalamu alaikum. Man, don't y'all know in the biblical scriptures, it talks about your turban. It talks about your bonnet or your kufi. Don't you know this? That's why you think certain people connotate the scriptures. The biblical scriptures prove that the Asiatic man is the father of civilization. If you don't understand geographical landmass and dispensation and time period, that's your fault. The biblical scriptures is not about no foreign God. You got this twisted. The biblical scriptures confirm the same thing that the prophet talks about, the same thing that the Circle 7 Quran talks about. God and man are one. You are God's. You are made in his image. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's not a transliteration. It never was a Jana Hebrew dialect. So it's not a transliteration, it's a replacement. You got to understand why the prophet used the word Jesus. He understood that the messiahs in the flesh have to take our brothers and sisters to the next level. Get a 1599 Geneva Bible and see what it says. More all through there. When you read in Jeremiah, it talks about Moor. It don't say nothing about the Ethiopian. It talks about the Moor. I hope you know this science, Moors, and stop confusing the people. Oh, we gonna dig today, man. We gonna dig. And I ain't even got into the lesson that I was teaching today on campus. I got to put one more thing in the atmosphere, and then we're gonna teach. Where'd that go? Hold on 1 second, family. I was looking for one thing. Hold on. Had to get my towel because it's hot up in here. But one more prayer we putting out in the atmosphere, and then we teaching. So this is school, man. This is school. I'm not here to convert nobody to no religious dogma. I teach science. I teach the Kemetic principles. I teach biblical scriptures. I teach the Circle Quran. I teach health is wealth. I teach ancient history. I teach astrology, astronomy. So we can't confuse the people. We gotta teach people the difference from not being caught up in linguistic apartheid. We gotta understand language. We gotta understand what an analogy is, what a parable is, what allegory is, what symbology is, what's connotation, what's denotation. You gotta understand this, man. I heard a Moor talk about fraudulent concealment, and I said, your brother can fraudulently conceal something. How? Analogy. Or an example, as far as this literature and this wisdom that we teaching, and you on purposely misguide your brothers. That's what? Fraudulent concealment. Period. I'm telling you, man. So let's deal with this science. May the benefit of Allah, which is arm, leg, arm, head, which is you. This is not Al-Islam and more science. God of earth, God and man is one. Metaphysics that I teach. If you watch my lectures, because my background, I have a doctorate from the Institute of Divine Physical Research. When we study the text and we use charts. Man, Noble Drew Ali was a teacher, man. Asher, I will be what I will to be. When we talk about the most holy place and the holies and a quarter roundabout, we're talking about the manifestation of your body. When I break these charts down and I show you everything that was in the tabernacle, from the incense to the colors of the garments to the curtains, that symbolized the inside of your body, Moors. From your veins to your brain to everything to your organs. I break this science down. It's nothing outside of yourself. So if you're not willing to learn, that's sad. That's sad, Moors. So may the benefit of Allah be upon you in all ways, as we should all strive to be a credit to Allah, which is arm, leg, arm, head, which is you. Make haste to bestow thy acts of love upon all your brothers and sisters, and do our best to shun the evil ones. Remember to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that we all might nourish the souls of all men, women, and children. Let the truth be thy shield in the manifest battles of falsehood. Know as Moors that we not need to pick the lock to the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft. For behold, Moors, the key to salvation already rests within your own hands. And yes, even though a portion of our nature is even though a portion of our nature is weakness, Moors, instability, inconsistency, there is still the greater part of our nature that is divine, family. May Allah, may Yahweh, may Buddha, may Confucius, whatever name that you glorify, may it guide you, may it preserve you, may it lengthen your age and give you everlasting peace. Shalom alakim, ayah asha ayah. We got to know this, man. Ashe, assalamu alaikum. We got to know this. Hey, Empress. Hey. So let's dig, man. Let's dig. I had a great day of teaching today. On campus at my alma mater. We talked about financial literacy because I talked to some athletes about not trusting certain fiduciaries, but I also went to talking about certain diets and things. It was awesome. Man, we had over, I thought it was going to be 100, but it was, almost 300. And we sold some books. Well, actually, a lot of students donated books. I signed them. A lot of the books that we had today was just our healthy eating and living and our vegan cookbook. And so a lot of those flew off the shelf. So, but our next book I'm going to produce for the students is Understanding Financial Literacy and understanding what a 501c3 is and understanding how to set that up with quick 30 accounts. And when the kids and when our students graduate out of high school, they have their own business. They have their own business, standing on their own feet. I teach this science. So I have to eliminate spookism because I see things and I'm a student, I'm a teacher. I'm a master teacher, man. I'm not tooting my horn. That's just who I am. And I take this dearly. So I saw a post today and it said, Moray, quoting from the 18, well, they say it was from the 18. They say it was from the 1828 Webster Dictionary, which I know, and no disrespect, but we have to be clear when we post things, Moors, because when you post things, you can't take it back. So if you're not willing to do the research, if you're not willing to check to make sure things right, that's false doctrine. Moors, we don't do that. We don't promote false doctrine. We just don't see something and post memes and then we spread that. That's bull crap. So I'm about to give it to you. Moray, this is what was posted. From the root of Moor, an African, a dark red color. Now I'm about to read it to you right in the 1828 dictionary and how I showed you that an African is not in the 1828 dictionary. Moray, adjective, of a dark red color. That's it. You see how you put yourself in a box when you try to say from Africa? What's Africa? The continent of Africa is big. Just like when I tell Moors, Africa was not named after a European. If you follow my page, I tell you this. No disrespect to no brothers, but that hidden color stuff, when they telling you that Africa was named after a European, that's false doctrine. So if the brothers was sincere, which some brothers be sincere, and sometimes you are sincerely wrong, why don't you go back and make that right and say, you know what, I was sincere, but I'm sincerely wrong. Because I'm seeing too many Moors talk about Africa was named after a European. That's bull crap. That's not true. That's not scholarship. And brothers calling themselves scholars and master teachers saying they have these degrees. And I tell you, Moors, some brothers and sisters have took an oath. They'll tell you. What is the oath? To spread false doctrine. That's the satanic spirit. I don't care what color you are. Don't put it all on Europeans or Albions. It's some of your brothers that's Moors that do that crap. Period. Now, I'm going to give it to you in the 1828 dictionary what a Moor is. And listen to this. a native of the northern coast of Africa, the northern coast of Africa, called by the Romans from the color of the people, Mauritania, right? Mauritania, right? The country of dark complexion people, the country of dark complexion people. The same country is now called Morocco, Tunis, Algiers. I hope you know this, man. The continent of Africa is big, and depending on your dialect, it'd be certain different things. If you spoke in Yoruba or Bantu, you got to understand the language that they were using to identify with the continent of Africa, or Kebalan, or Asia, or the Garden of Eden. Don't you know in the biblical scriptures, the Garden of Eden is the continent of Africa? But you won't know this. You're getting all caught up in spookism, and it's sad. So let's do this teaching, man. Because my Empress home, we're getting ready to go do our workout. It's going to be amazing. But 1 second. But yeah, Morris, brothers and sisters saying that they woke and all that crazy mess, and they in tune with themselves. And I'm telling you, you can defile your body with what comes out of your mouth and what you put inside of your system. It's just facts, man. If you say you are a human and not a mankind, then you must eat what matches what comes from Mother Earth. I'm telling you, I don't care what it looks like on the outside. If you're not putting the right things in you to purify you, to rejuvenate you, to heal yourself, what are we doing? What are we doing? We're playing. I don't fellowship with certain people. I don't care if you have a turban on, affairs. I don't care what you say. My spirituality and my holy and divine creed and my nationality is dear to my heart, and it should be to you. See, Morris, we should take the same approach to our spirituality and our nationality, the same way we do anything else. Just like but see, you'll let someone that look outside of you put a suit on and say, and you will get all caught up. Like I be seeing brothers and sisters quoting Darwin. And I say, that's pseudoscience. Darwin didn't know no science. He'll tell you. It's all pseudo. Just like in school, they say, who are the greatest thinkers? And Negro, black, and colors in the universities, they will say Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. Well, I was doing my dissertation. I destroyed all that. On the college campuses. Yeah. That's why I tell you, I'm welcome. The student unions asked me to come. I don't have any fake degrees. Flat out. I have a bachelor degree in business, finance. I have a master's in ancient history and ancient religion, first century religion, and I'm getting my doctorate in indigenous people law and policy. Not saying that I'm better than nobody. The information is there. Nothing is hidden from you, elites, about financial literacy and certain fiduciaries with all your earned income. Nonprofit is amazing, man. We have a nonprofit, and it just started, and we teach financial literacy. We teach how your income, how can I say it, your gross and your net, you got to know the difference, man. You got to know the difference from a gross and net income. And so we started off talking about income and how I broke certain figures down, how you can go broke. So I'm going to use an example because I love to use analogies and I love to use examples and things. So one of the students on campus was asking me, could you please use an example and break it down how a person can go broke or how a person think they have certain funds. And if you're not watching your own funds, it would be destroyed. So greetings, Empress. So I'll use this as an example. First, I'll use an example of how you can have $1 million by the age of 65. And it was like, what do you mean, Brother Ben? Students that I mentor on Grand Canyon University, a lot of students I still tutor on my free time, or they come to my home, or they come to our temple and I tutor them. I don't care what nationality you are, period. I don't care what nationality you are. And I have to say this, my brother was killed by a Negro, black, or colored. I don't get caught in that. I get caught in the heart. I have friends of all different nationalities. So we're going to keep that straight up. This is understand who you are. I know who I am. And that's where it stops for me. That's where it stops for me. I'm in this world. I operate in this world, in the flesh. I do business. I'm a businessman. I have a nonprofit. I'm a contractor. I do business with everyone. I love what I do. So you Moors that's thinking, trying to say this and that about other nationalities, you're wrong. You don't even know what the prophet was teaching. Sorry. Example, if you start at 25 Moors, saving $100 a month, don't you know at 65, that's $1 million? That simple. When I started, and I started late because a lot of us in our culture and our families, I'm glad my dad taught me about business and money. But when I was young, I was blessed to have monies and things, but I spent it on a lot of things and I was wrong. But now I understand the importance of the value of currency, the value of saving, the value of percentages and all that a little bit more. And I'm catching up. So if you save $100 a month at the age of 25, when you become 65, that's $1 million. Morris, if you start late at 35, which I did, don't you know that's a significant decrease? Only 300,000. That's what that goes. It'd be 300,000. But I'm lucky. I'm blessed to be a non-for-profit. I'm blessed to have these charitable organizations where I can go and teach. I go into schools and I teach kids how to, have their t-shirt businesses. I teach how to start a 501c3. I have my own science temple in school where we teach metaphysics, local and state and federal law. It's a different from local, state, and federal law where I got to be honest. I'm tired of seeing Moors telling you have the right to drive without a license. That's bull crap. You have the right to travel and a right to operate a motor vehicle. Those are two different things. And that's not federal law. That's state law. You got to understand the regulations. Do you want an alcoholic driver without license? Do you want somebody driving a raggedy car on the street that's polluting the atmosphere? No. Use your hippocampus. But we teach the Kemetic science, alchemy, healthy eating and living. We heard of. And if anyone wants me to come teach it, reach out to me. Also, we have our more power, strength, and conditioning, healthy eating and living. Moors, if you're not non-for-profit, you're not able to go and do things at the charitable contribution. You're not able to go and do things and the school would donate to you. If they can't pay, they write it up as in-kind service. That's what Muhammad Ali was doing when he was banned from boxing. I hope y'all know this science. That's why I'm able to travel all over into schools in different religions and different masonry temples. I just teach the truth. And most Masons, I got to tell you the truth. Most European Masons and brothers, that's Prince Hall. I teach the science. In meteorology, 32 and 33 degrees is just a level above freezing, Moors. That's no science. We have 99 rites. That's ancient primitive rite in Memphis and Mizraim. In the biblical scriptures, Mizraim is Egypt. If you follow my pages, I gave you the information how the Italian, the European, the Albion, whatever you want to call it, he tell you he went to Egypt and connotated the science. I mean, it's what it is. We got to know this. So, an example I used for the brothers and sisters was I used Kevin Garnett. And if a lot of people are not following certain things, because I follow certain financial institutes. Like I said, I do a lot of investing, my own investing. I invest in myself. I invest in the people. I put products out. I believe investing in supply and demand. You know what I mean? So that's how I invest. But if a lot of brothers and sisters don't know the situation that's going on with Kevin Garnett, yes, he's going through a divorce. But Kevin Garnett's trustee or his fiduciary robbed the man blind for $77 million. So Kevin Garnett played in it. And I broke this down. And a lot of brothers was crying because they're like, they don't teach this. Why they don't teach this? Why they don't let you come and teach it? That's why I established my non-for-profit. So I can go into schools. So I can go into elementaries. So I can go when people ask me to come. And I can teach this. So listen to the wisdom. Kevin Garnett played in professional sports, the National Basketball Association, for 21 years. He grossed $326 million. This is before taxes. So he didn't make $326 million. And this is just from playing in the NBA, maybe endorsements, whatever. He didn't make $326 million. That was his gross before taxes. I hope you understand that. So let's break this down. How I teach financial literacy. If you made $326 million, Off top, you got to split that in half. So you got to say, okay, what is this? This is 160 million. That's after it's been taxed, right? This is the advice that I give. Boom. 160 million, right? Okay. I would advise you, if I was your financial advisor, I would advise you take 80 million of that home income after it's been taxed, put it up in a savings, right? Now you have another 80 million, right? I would also invest to put 40 million of that in a private trust. I hope you know what private trust is, Moors. I tell everybody, put everything in a private trust. I teach this. I also would tell a brother to open a non-for-profit. That's a whole nother conversation. Then I would advise that brother, now you have that 40 million, right? So now you got 40 million. I would also advise million in gold. Oh yeah, 20 million in gold. Because you got to understand, you're getting so many other endorsements, man. You can live righteously. Most of these brothers not even watching their money. They have so much money, man. Look like this. You done played 21 years in professional sports. Somebody steal $5 million from you in 10 years. You do the math. That's 50 million. They do it in 10 years. They done got you for 100 million. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Advise that a person to invest 20 million in gold because it appreciates. I'm telling you, my dad invested in gold, man. I was amazed. That's why I'm glad my dad showed me how to invest in certain things that does not depreciate. Cars, jewelry, diamonds, that's crap. If you're going to get something, get gold. I'm telling you, man, it's just what it is. So then that leaves you with 20 million. Now, I would also advise to start a nonprofit organization and invest 10 million in that nonprofit. Don't you know all rich politicians, everybody that understand finance, they have non-for-profits. Why do you think? Why do you think they have non-for-profits? Because people can donate money to you. Organizations can donate money to you. It's a tax bracket. Your money that you pay taxes does not go to help the United States of America. It goes to a private banking system and it sits there. That's your right to say you can donate your money. Either you're going to give it to Uncle Sam or you're going to give it to a nonprofit organization of your choice. That's why I keep telling Moors. Most of the people that donate to me are not Moors. They're professors, business people, other places. When I go do lectures and I tell them my non-for-profit and I ask for donations and I have a lot of silent donors and we do real work and we give a tax exempt receipt so you can claim at the end of the year in your taxes. But most Moors don't teach this. They don't have a business background and a finance background. I do. So if you don't understand the importance of having a non-for-profit and what it can do to change your community, you don't understand it. Why you think churches are 501c3? They sucking the money out the community. You look in the community, the churches ain't going nowhere, but look at everything around the churches. All the homes are raggedy. What I'm trying to do back in my city in Flint, Michigan, man, we're trying to do a charter community to where we're going to have a whole neighborhood. All houses are going to be the same. And we're going to change our neighborhood. We're going to open our own schools. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm doing. And if I have to do it on my own, so be it. I love it. You know? So now, after you invest 10 million in non-for-profit, now you have 10 million to live off comfortably. You have 10 million. If you can't live off 10 million comfortably, you have a problem. You have a problem. How can you see? I broke that down so simple. That's financial literacy. Most professional players do not watch their own money. They have somebody that's not even there for their best interest. Like when a person says, and I know a lot of more, they say, oh, I got an attorney. And I laugh. I said, so is that your legal representative or is that your attorney that's under the British Annotated Registry? I give the laws and I give the precedented cases where you have the right to practice law. That's why certain people, I don't advise certain law things because you're not one of my students. I'm not going to give you something, you run with it. Like Moors are telling you have the right to drive without a driver's license. That's bull crap. The right to travel and the right to operate a motor vehicle are two different things. Yeah, you have the right to travel by bus, by plane, get on your bike. We're talking about privileges and Moors only give you a little bit and it confuse you. I want to give it to you all so you can make a sound judgment. If I only give you one piece of something and I don't give you nothing to compare to, what I'm doing is connotating you. I'm trying to manipulate your thinking process, and I don't want to do that. I want you to be philosophers. I want you to be theosophists. I want you to use your hippocampus. Don't you know every constellation have 3 deacons that's inside your hippocampus? I want you to use both sides of your brain. I want you to use all 12 reactors of your brain. I don't want to connotate you to nothing. But that's a little science, man. I want Moors to understand, man. And like I said, next week, well, my Empress just came in. We're going to be, I'm going to be at one of the hardest hit funds in Arizona in the community. And I'm teaching these babies and these students the importance about starting your non-for-profit and how you can change things in your neighborhood. My Empress, like right now, she loves to do a lot of art. She's doing custom tennis shoes and doing jackets. So I start non-for-profit. My Empress is going to go into schools and teach these babies how to make their own clothing through our nonprofit. Through our nonprofit. See, we're building, man. And so, Moors, please donate, man. If, like I said, if you want to be a student, I'll show you how. If you want to order some of our literature, our books, I also am at my office. I have a print machine. We print ancient books that some might not have. I have a lot of books that some can't get. Like the African of the Western Hemisphere, like certain books that I have. If you look on Amazon, look how much these books cost. I access through them through my membership. Do you know? I'm part of the Philosophical Society. I'm part of the Scholars Roundtable. I'm a 99th ranked Mason, Primitive Rite of Memphis and Mizraim. Look on Amazon and see how much this literature costs. Look on Amazon and see how much the Forgotten Call of the Civil War is. A new at the every issue. Look on Amazon and see how much this literature costs. I have them. And when I sell the literature or when I ask for donation, more like that costs too much, I say it can't cost too much because I'm selling it for a fraction of what you would pay for it from anywhere else. Research how much this literature costs. Research it. Research what the Forgotten Call of the Civil War, a new look at the slavery issue. Look how much this costs. I have it. I have it all. So like I said, you know, if you don't want to purchase our literature, that's fine. If you don't want to purchase the books that we gathered and compiled, like I said, today, man, our books flew off the shelf. We students donated, man, I don't want to talk about funds, but we donated 200 books. And look, the Empress, she like, yeah, that book cost $500,000. Exactly it does. I can show you some more books that cost stupid money, and I have them. That book costs $500,000, flat out. It's there. The Forgotten Call of the Civil War by Lawrence R. Tenzer. I have them. And so when brothers go and talk about they understand history, no, you don't. You don't understand history because you're getting connotated. And I'm going to leave you with this. I did a lecture on Grand Canyon University campus with a lot of the student union and the so-called African American History Department. And a lot of the brothers cried. A lot of the sisters cried because they didn't know. They didn't know the real call of the Civil War. I'm going to show you one more thing. I'm going to show you one more thing. I'm going to show you one more thing, Moors. I broke out this history right here, and tears fell out. And I'm going to leave you with this. Watch this. And I'm going to show you, I'm just being honest, how history was whitewashed. I also have a book. Where's my book? I'm going to pull it out. I think it's in my other library. Research a book called Russian Icona by Vladimir Ivanov. Research that book, Russian Icona by Vladimir Ivanov. Research that book and see how much it costs. I have it. And it shows in detail, I got to be honest, how the European, the Albion, whatever you want to call it, how they're whitewashing the history books. It says in the biblical scriptures in Maccabees. It's plain as day. Nothing is hidden. Nothing is hidden. Nothing is hidden. When I talk about all the different books that was taken out the biblical scriptures, from the book, the Guide and Seer, all the Hebrew books that I have, from the Pseudegrapha to the Novus Testamentum, I have them all. So watch this. I'm going to show you this and we're done. This is what they teach brothers and sisters on college campuses. When I say you must be a student, you must be a student. When you're there, you must research. You must go to the doctoral library. You must do peer-reviewed scholarly research, no matter if you don't like me or not. If you don't like my fez, if you don't like my glasses, if you don't like my big eyes, I can care less. Yes, Empress Vladimir Ivanhoff. Let them know how much that book cost. I got it. It shows you clear and day how they're whitewashing the pictures. So this is what they teach the kids in school. And so I did a lecture in the history class, and I'm gonna show you something. This is the Battle of Bunker Hill. I know everybody was taught that. We're talking about 1776, the Battle of Bunker Hill. Watch this. I don't even want to go all in there, but research the Battle of Bunker Hill when so-called Paul Revere did all this X, Y, and Z stuff per se. You don't see any Moors or any brothers of color in there, do you? Huh? No, but watch this. See, the work has already been done. I done the work years ago. Watch this. This is Setting the Record Straight, America, History in Black and White by David Barton. Watch this. Empress, let them know how much that book, if you got a chance, Vladimir Ivanhoff. It's called Russian Icona. Listen to this, Moors, and I'm done. American history, so much of it is truly unknown today. For example, few know of James Amistad, a black, and I'm using the words, a black patriot and spy who helped make possible the 1781 Yorktown victory during the American Revolution that established America and its independent nation. Or Peter Salmon, a black patriot who was the hero of the 1775 Battle of Bunker Hill. What? Yeah. Huh? Did you hear what I said? Peter Salmon, a black patriot who was a hero of the 1775 Battle of Bunker Hill. I just showed you the Battle of Bunker Hill. Do you see Peter Salmon in here? Somebody talk to me. You don't see Peter Salmon in here, do you? Absolutely not. Watch this, though. Let me finish demonstrating. Or Peter Salmon, a black patriot who was a hero of the 1775 Battle of Bunker Hill. He also fought as one of the legendary Minutemen and was a soldier at the Battle of Saratoga at Stony Point. In fact, a monument was erected to his memory in Massachusetts to commemorate his life and deeds. Empress, what you say? 20,000. That book cost 20K. I got them. So when Moore's talking about they know something, tell them to show and prove. Say, where are you getting that information from? They're not going to show you. They're not going to show you. When I tell you Africa was not named after no European. And I demonstrated, I show you that. If that's the case, why did they name Italy or the other country after his brother? I give you the science so you can research it for yourself. He also fought as one of the legendary Minutemen and was a soldier at the battles of Saratoga and Stony Point. In fact, a monument was erected to his memory in Massachusetts to commemorate his life and deeds. And in the famous picture of the 1776 crossing of Delaware on Christmas night, I just showed you the picture of what they teach you in school. Two men depicted at the front of the boat included Prince Whipple and Oliver Cromwell, two black patriots who served with George Washington and other American generals during the Revolution. Few Americans are aware that many of the soldiers who fought during the American Revolution were black. And unlike the later segregated regiments in the Civil War, many of the units in American Revolution were fully integrated, with black patriots fighting, dying side by side their white fellow comrades, soldiers. While this part of our history was known to the uninitiated or the unilluminated, Americans knew this information in previous generations because of black historians and historians like myself today, such as William Neal. Neal was an award-winning young scholar in Boston during the 1830s who studied law and became the first black, I'm going to say black, but I'm using the words, but we know Moorish, was the first black American or Moorish American to hold a post in the federal government. Yes, in 1852, he authored Services of Colored Americans in the Wars of 1776 and 1812. And 3 years later, he penned The Colored Patriots of the American Revolution. Morris, I can go on and on with the wisdom. I can show you all these brothers in history, all these brothers in government, but they're not going to teach you this. They're not going to teach you this. Don't you know who these brothers is on the front of this book? It's there. It's there. Let me see, do I got something before I go? I'm gonna show you. Oh man, it might go off, but if it go off, for you don't get caught up in spookism. Hold on. Let's see, do I got this science in here? So I can show my brothers and sisters how we don't get caught up in spookism. I might have to demonstrate that to you another time, man, about the Great Seal and about who established the Great Seal and what that's all about, and how brothers and sisters just lying to you, man. They're lying to you. They're trying to convert you to religious dogma. They don't even know real history. They don't even know who started certain governments. They don't know. They don't even know. I'll have to find that for you, Moors, and I'll demonstrate it to you later. But I'll do it maybe tomorrow if I have time. I love you all, Moors. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, health, and wealth. Love instead of hate. If you want my books, Moors, download the Cash App to your mobile phone. Our office number is 702-272-4775. Peace.